The biggest story of the week, calendar year so far. Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron James, round 2. This one started on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, when LeBron James made a surprising appearance on Pat McAfee. I saw Pat McAfee post a picture from the LeBronization. And I was like, whoa, LeBron actually did a sit-down interview with Pat McAfee of all people. And boy, did that set the internet ablaze. And, Stephen A. responded on his show, the Stephen A. Smith show, and everything just went right. LeBron is out here posting Instagram trolls, and Stephen A. saying if LeBron would have did this, he'd have smacked him. Everything has just been out of control that we've been seeing. And I look at it like this, man. I think the number one thing that pisses me off in this situation isn't even LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith. I think what pisses me off is the viewer. And I had this conversation on this show before. I said it on Twitter yesterday. I'm going to continue to say it. Y'all don't care about sports journalism the way you say you do. If you did, all these companies wouldn't be laying people off. It wouldn't be crumbling. And these journalists wouldn't be having a hard time keeping their place in these media spaces. Y'all like the mess. Y'all like the basketball wives like drama of the NBA and other things involved in sports. That's why the talking heads are making the money. We can sit up here and say Stephen A. is a coon. Stephen A. is this. Stephen A. is that. And some of those might be true. But he's laughing all the way to the bank. I've never seen a talent like Stephen A. Smith, who has already lived up to their contract extension. Already this week, I would ask for a raise. And first of all, I just want to say I think both of these niggas played themselves. A lot of lines were crossed. Both of these guys using bullshit excuses for why they don't like each other. They just don't like each other. Stop using other things. If you're Stephen A., you think this is strictly just about LeBron being upset about you not thinking he's Michael Jordan, I think you're a moron. I think if you think this is just LeBron James fighting on his fighting on top of this thing of him just being the best father ever, I also think you're an idiot. These two, for whatever reason, don't like each other. They need to be upfront with the reasons that they don't like each other. I thought it was very nasty of Stephen A. Smith to go on First Take and say that LeBron wasn't at Kobe's funeral when we all know he was at Kobe's funeral. Diana Taurasi shouted LeBron out in her speech at the funeral. And let's just play in the game that he didn't go. Why is that something you air out there? Then you go out there and say that, oh, he wasn't in his best friend Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame induction. Are we completely forgetting the fact that Bronny went to cardiac arrest that week? And I think D Wade understood why he couldn't make it. I think this clown stuff. And then as somebody who is a notorious double downer like myself, but when somebody has actual proof that what you're saying did not happen, you can't double down out there, especially with the platform that Stephen A. Smith does. It's irresponsible. And now back to this beanhead ass nigga LeBron James that I've been screaming from the mountaintops for years that he is an egotistical, narcissistic, pathological liar. He is one of the most passive-aggressive niggas of all time. Now, I give him his credit. He wasn't passive-aggressive this week. And he likes to control the narrative. And when he can't control the narrative, he wants to lash out at other people. There is not a coincidence that he went to Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee don't know nothing about basketball. That he's admitted himself. He doesn't know anything about basketball. So you go to his platform and you say these things that you're saying that, oh, it's about this and it's only about him saying these things about Bronny. That's false. And then go up there and the things he said about Windhorse was just unnecessary, saying like he acts like he's my best friend. Matter of fact, this video of you saying, nigga, that nobody understands him more than Windhorse does. You're just mad that he said one thing that you disagreed about. As much as both of those guys played themselves, I think LeBron played himself more. He gains nothing from this. When have we ever seen a player of his caliber, even LeBron himself, put that video he put on social media the other day. He's over there talking about Stephen A is going on a Taylor Swift tour. Nigga, you the one who went out of your way to go to Indianapolis, Indiana to do this an hour and a half interview. LeBron James is way too smart and knows too much about the game of basketball to go up there and spit that generational nonsense that he was spitting. All those Twitter talking points talking about Giannis to score 270 points in this league. I'm getting tired of all this different era disrespect. And that's from the old heads too. I'm tired of niggas like Charles Barkley and Shaq, Oscar Robertson acting like some of these guys couldn't play in their era. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the issue with all of this. So he knew what he was doing. So you can't come up here and accuse Stephen A of being all in the videos when you the same nigga. And Stephen A, you can't say up here that if he'd have did this, I'd have slapped him. He was in your face and you said nothing. If anything, that was your time to wild out. He not going to beat you up in the middle of a game. If there's any time that you could talk crazy to that nigga and get away with it, it was then. So I'm not trying to hear none of that. So both of these guys are just out here and they just don't like each other and they're throwing us in the middle of it. Now, for the fans saying, oh, wow, why is this? We need to go back to the old days. I seen somebody say, oh, man, I wish Stuart Scott was still here. That's a different era, bro. Y'all the niggas watching this. Y'all the niggas that's y'all the reason that Stephen A. Smith got 120 million or whatever he got and is able to do whatever he wants at that network and including on going on conservative tours with Chris Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly. Because he can do it, because y'all watch it. When LeBron was in his face and doing all those things, where everybody go next morning? First take. That's just what it is, man. So I'm tired of the nonsense and acting like y'all care about sports journalism. You don't. If people started that night, let's just say after the Pat McAfee interview that they started First Take talking about the run that the Oklahoma City Thunder is on, or Nikola Jokic going 39, 10, and 10 the other night, or really just the great Western Conference race that is going on right now. Seeds 2 through 7 are separated by a game. Y'all don't want to talk about that because they did, you will be bored. So cut the crap. That's all I got to say about this. Bang, I know you got a roll, so I'm going to get the floor to you first. What is everything you feel about this situation and just how it's been playing out?
You damn near said everything I was gonna say here, sir. I don't think either one of them are wrong, but I also believe that none of them are acting right. All right, look, let me start by the Stephen A. Smith side. Everybody keeps saying like Stephen A. got to let it go. He's a journalist. Tell me a journalist who let it go. Tell me.
Nobody.
Journalist specializes in having the last word. So why are we going to expect Stephen A. to not want to have the last word when journalists always have the last word because they control a pen? Now, with that being said, he let his emotions get the best of him. He was saying some good shit yesterday on First Take. But when he started mentioning the Kobe and the Dwayne Wade shit, you ain't even have to take it there. I said it in the group chat and I said it here. It's like I was waiting on Stephen A. to say he's on the balcony.
Oh, that we're a week away from that.
Now, I was waiting on that. But I also believe that from a Stephen A. Smith standpoint, because he fucked up so royally, it's over from his side. LeBron James. LeBron James deserves ample criticism here. Because I'm sorry. Dad or no dad situation. It was very unprofessional of confronting somebody at the game. We can talk all that nigga shit we want to about how, oh man, hey, anytime, any place, all that. It was calculated, ladies and gentlemen. And this is part of why I hate debate shows. This is also why I hate debating with niggas. This is why sometimes I'll be like, look, we can agree to disagree, but ain't nobody gonna try to change my opinion. Because this is what is not. That's why I've said that on here a couple of times. Because I hate debate shows. Because I believe you're 100% right. And I've said it here too. Niggas are the reason. The niggas who complaining are the reason why First Take existed. When Cold Pizza was Cold Pizza, y'all wasn't watching that shit. When they put the 1st to 10 aspect in the Cold Pizza, y'all started watching. When they made it 1st to 10, y'all started watching more. When they made it First Take, y'all really started watching. Stephen A will tell you, they have been #1 for 13 years. It's because of viewers like you. So don't get in your feelings and shit now. Talking about some, I missed the time when, because niggas, y'all are the reason why First Take exists. The Stuart Scott thing. Stephen A. Smith and Stuart Scott are 2 different broadcasters. Stephen A. Smith is not a lead guy on a show. He is not the lead host. That's what Stuart Scott was. Stuart Scott is Malika Andrews, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Stuart Scott does. There's what Malika Andrews do, and then there's what Skip does, and what Stephen A does, and what Nick Wright does. There's a place for both because it has always been a place for both. Go look at baseball tonight. Go look at Inside the NBA in its whole existence. Nothing is new, ladies and gentlemen. So for y'all to get older and be like, oh man, no, Stephen A. Smith is a pundit. He is a journalist. He is a writer. He is all of those things, and he's bringing all of that to this forum. So the Stephen A. Smith, Stuart Scott, what I missed about that era, no, nigga, you miss, if that's what you saying, nigga, you miss Sports Center being the only show. That's what you miss. Sports Center being the only show. That's what you miss. And it's not about Malika Andrews being a little crazy, though. It's not about that. Like, we stick it to the subject here. Malika Andrews is the host of NBA Today. Stuart Scott was the host of the NBA show where he was there. Then there was other people sprinkled around. Those are the basketball players, and those are the analysts. That's what Stuart Scott was. He was not Stephen A. Smith and vice versa. So let's stop that shit there. Because quite honestly, all this shit from everybody is really just frustrating and getting on my fucking nerves. I be wanting to get on social media and call all y'all niggas lame.
Yeah.
What y'all acting like. Every last person from Stephen A. Smith, from LeBron James, and I'm sorry if I alienate a couple of people here. Y'all lame as hell. Y'all even taking sides on these niggas like y'all know these niggas. That's even lame as hell. You don't know Stephen A. and you don't know LeBron James. One nigga play basketball and one person cover it. That's it. I am tired of seeing grown-ass men getting all upset and riled up about the fact that these 2 niggas arguing and y'all taking sides. All y'all acting like your bitches right now. Now, let's get back to the other part of this. LeBron James. LeBron James went on Pat McAfee and said all of that shit. And LeBron James, as you said it, is that can I be your friend? Be my friend ass nigga. He get on there and he start assimilating to what these niggas is doing on the Pat McAfee show, and he loving it. Come on, man. In 40 years, when your ass is walking around here a little bit slowly, you're gonna see some of these young niggas be talking shit about your ass like you talk shit about them niggas in the 70s. Matter of fact, low key, some of them kids is doing that shit right the fuck now. And the Stephen A. Smith shit, you knew what that shit was gonna do. In fact, you knew that shit because you came on the show right after First Take. This shit is calculated. Yep. Like my man Scott said, everything is a damn press run. Everything. So look, my thoughts on it, Stephen A. is right in his assessment. LeBron James was right in his assessment. The only thing that's wrong about this shit is niggas is acting like pure ass hoes while they trying to do this shit. And not just those 2, all y'all that's getting on the internet really taking up for all of this shit. Because here's the flip side of this shit. That shit that LeBron James did, ain't none of y'all niggas doing that shit to family members or niggas in the goddamn barbershop. Y'all ain't doing that shit. And the shit that Stephen A. Smith did, y'all ain't doing that shit. Y'all weird. All of this shit is weird. And I can't wait to LA 2028 when these niggas get cooked in the goddamn Olympics and the NBA is cooked. Y'all niggas are not acting like men. Y'all having an argument in the group chat, and we see that shit. And the last thing you want to see is an argument in the group chat. Because when you put that shit out there, the outside world is gonna be like, man, these niggas acting like hoes. That's what they doing right now.
And especially when it comes to what we're hearing about LeBron unfollowing Kendrick Perkins, and then Kendrick Perkins going, that's why I blocked him from my phone too. Both of y'all look crazy. Like, both of y'all grown men. One is 40. I think both of them 40. I don't know exactly Kendrick Perkins' age, but both of y'all look crazy.
They all the same age.
Yeah, both of y'all niggas looking crazy, bro. Like, it's a lot. And the Bron fans, like, one thing that annoyed me today was when they showed Wendy saying, like, you know, he's not mad at LeBron and he owes LeBron a lot. And niggas like, this is the appropriate response. I'm like, yo, get off his dick. Like, y'all want people to bow down and kiss this nigga.
I forgot the damn Wendy shit. Wendy ain't never do no shit bad about LeBron. The nigga known this nigga for 25 years.
Yeah.
That nigga ain't never said that nigga was his best friend or anything like that. That shit was some real hoe shit. Because all Wendy did that other day was stay his opinion. And if anything, that capitalizes what Stephen A. Smith said that is true. That nigga Wendy ain't do no shit like that. He covered that shit. He gave his opinion. LeBron James don't like that shit. And that's why I stand on it. I stand on it. While y'all talking that shit about Malika Andrews, I stand on that shit. Wendy said some shit that LeBron James didn't like years ago, and Dave McMenamin became his new fucking press best friend. That's what the fuck happened.
And I'll say this too. I found it funny that he said that he was mad that Wendy said that he signed with Nike because of Michael Jordan, and then he continued to name Michael Jordan as one of the reasons he wanted to wear Nike. Is it Uchiwali or does it one Mike, my nigga? Like that. That's the issue I have.
That's why Mike don't talk to his ass.
And that was another thing too. Oh, because I'm still playing. Nigga, who you think you are? Like I know who he thinks who he is, but like I don't believe that Michael Jordan sits up in his house and just think about LeBron all day.
Now that he retired, let me go talk to him.
Yeah,
not Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Like y'all got Michael Jordan messed up. Like that there's a lot of things about that. Then he's like, well, me and Kobe hadn't had the best relationship until he retired. Like, niggas not thinking about you the way you think they are, bro. And that's what annoys. Like, when it comes to basketball, like, people call me a LeBron James hater, that's fine. I wear it. I don't care. When it comes to basketball, I can't say anything about him. If you think he's the greatest of all time, I think you're wrong, but you at least have a platform to stand on. We're not talking about LeBron James, the basketball player. But LeBron James, the nigga, is a whole ass nigga to me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dante. We've been going for a long time. I bet you got to leave right now. Or I don't want to go for it. You got to bounce. So
I just want to hear Dante's thoughts because I don't want to leave and he don't give his thoughts. That'd be bogus as hell. Like,
I mean, LeBron is. I mean, this is just more of an example of why he's the most polar. I feel like the most polarizing player we've ever seen. Like, even more so than Mike. Because it invokes such a visceral reaction from everybody. Either you really love him or you really hate him. Like, y'all done called them nigga hoes and sluts and all this. And I'm on a more of a side where he has more than any other player. Yeah, you did. he more than any player that we've ever seen has been able to control his narrative. And we're running into a situation now where, because his son is involved, he's being even more careful with that. And I don't have a problem with that. But I think this entire situation is just going way too far. Like, he approached them. You both addressed it. Let it go. The showing up on Pat McAfee was definitely strategic. I think when you have a lot of people who said, well, why didn't he go to Shannon or why didn't he go to a Black Pod or whatever? And it's like, these are the same people that are also talking shit about his son. So he's not gonna go sit down with them. He wasn't about to go to Gilbert Arenas Pod. He wasn't about to go to these other places where they too have been shitting on Bronny, because that would be counterproductive to the point he's trying to prove. So I think it's really a situation where this was his perfect opportunity to get at Stephen A. It's like, I can go out here under the guise of I'm protecting my son, which I think that's partially part of it, but it's also, like Scott said, they don't like each other, and we've known for years they don't like each other. The Wendy shot was weird to me, but I mean, at the same time, when somebody's built their career off your back, even if I think it's more so a thing where the Clutch Mafia, they'll feed stuff to Wendy. It's not necessarily Bron going directly to Wendy and say, hey, Wendy, say this, say that. He has his people that do it, and that's cool. That's the way the game goes. Mike had a Marv Rashad. Every player has their guy that they go to get things out. And so I think with this, it's just gone too far. And for the sake of how we cover the game, I think with Stephen A, it's like, you might want to stop, but they might tell him to stop just off the strength that now, bro, every time they mention the Lakers, it's gonna be like, well, is Stephen A being genuine with the coverage on either way? Like, if he finally starts being like, saying something good about him, or if he's going hard on him, like, well, you just saying that because you don't fuck with Bron. And so that starts to, now I don't want to say mess with the money, because he got that money for a reason. The people are gonna tune in, the eyes are gonna be on Stephen A when he speaks from this point out. But it's a situation with everybody. It's like, bro, all right, it's time to wrap this up. Like, it's a lot of good stuff going on in the league. This should not be the leading story everywhere.
Yeah, I agree with that. And before we let Bang, I just want to say this. Like, I am so sick and tired of this era of basketball players acting like they the only niggas to get bad media coverage. It's annoying. Like, oh, they're talking bad about the game, about the players. Niggas said that Michael Jordan's daddy is dead because of him. What are we talking about? He's not the first one. They call Allen Iverson everything but a nigga on TV. Y'all are not the only ones doing this. And I'm just sick and tired of all this, especially from the guy who's been the guy for the last 20 years or whatever. You know this type of stuff, and you going up there intentionally playing dumb. That's what annoys me more than anything.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna dip, because Jay Williams had put up a post on Instagram yesterday about how people got to stop acting like this is something that has not happened, that players have never confronted people. And it was a video of Michael Jordan talking about how people was covering him and his family and all of that stuff. That's the point. I think that's the point Scott just made. And I think that some people might take what Jay Williams said and run, oh, y'all see Mike doing it too? No. And I don't even know what he meant to say by it. But I'll say this. Forever, people have been coming back or going back at people in the press. None of this is new. None of it at all. It has been in public. It has been in private. None of this is new. What's new is how long this has been going on by two people who should know better than that. And I believe both of them are getting off on this shit too. When that black dude asked Adam Silver that question at the press conference, I said, this shit's over. Because now this shit then got to the commissioner asking the question. So I would not be shocked or surprised if there was a conference call with LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith on it, telling them to cut this shit off because y'all fucking with the money. Because the last thing I'll say is this, and this is also to the fans too. Y'all niggas talking about how y'all want the league covered, but y'all consistently talking about this shit. Y'all consistently talking about this shit. Y'all talking about y'all hate the way that it's covered, but we consistently talking about this shit. So y'all, including the niggas who's involved in this shit, because Draymond Green talking about this shit on his shit again too. This y'all fault. Stop trying to blame what's on the court. Stop trying to blame how niggas is talking. This is all of y'all fault. Y'all want to know why the NBA is a bad product? Because more people are talking about LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith than they are talking about the fact that the Houston Rockets is the number 2 seed in the West. And the great job that Ime Udoka has done. We ain't even said shit about homie with the damn Memphis Grizzlies getting fired today. The bullshit. That shit was one of the greatest moments in Chicago sports history, the way that comeback happened. It is one of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen in my life. To me, the way that shit happened only rivals Reggie Miller's 8 points and the way he did with the Knicks.
Reggie and T-Mac.
T-Mac.
And T-Mac, right. And T-Mac at 23 and 13.
The Detroit Pistons are the 5th seed, ladies and gentlemen.
Detroit Pistons are the 5th seed. But not just the people on ESPN. Because everybody on it, because it's the crazy part, y'all. Everybody on ESPN, they talking about this shit. Why? Because they got to skirt around the fact that it has to involve the $1 Million Man up in that bitch.
Yep.
So they skirting around it. So the only person that's really coming on ESPN and really talking about it is Stephen A. Smith. So ESPN ain't the one who really profiting off of that shit. Stephen A. is, though. Yep. But guess who's talking about this shit? We are, and I don't want to talk about this shit. Gil's Arena talking about this shit. Draymond Green talking about this shit. All these niggas talking about this shit. Ain't nobody talking about everything else we talking about. So get off that goddamn bullshit. Start acting like y'all holier than now. And this is what, because y'all know what gets ratings on y'all podcast too. Y'all have a nice one.
Bang, I know you got a roll. So he's catching in his PTO early because Bang always says, why my PTO ain't got approved. Y'all follow Bang at JR Bang, all social media platforms. Bang will holler at you on Monday.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right. And I'll just say this one last thing on this topic before me and Dante move on to our next topic. And that is in a couple months, if the NBA Finals is Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, and y'all niggas ain't talking about how this is one of the best basketball series for finals we've seen, you full of shit. Keep the same energy if that's a series. For all of y'all to my real coverage, man. But Catch, I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HNB Media and the Barber's Chair Network.